excellent.
You do a lot of podcasts?
No, I don't. I'm usually building toys up north.
Yeah.
And checking the list twice.
Yeah.
And this year's been particularly stressful in that regard because it was an election year, so we do a lot of vetting.
Oh goodness, yeah.
And I've been in touch with the coal fields in Wyoming. I've been buying truckloads, trainloads of coal. People don't realize that in addition to taking toys to the good boys and girls, I also deliver coal to those who haven't been good.
I imagine so, but I see how people, adults and children, how people react when they see you. And I just, to me, it's just so inspiring and just, there's a trickling effect of that. The magic, the little boy that when he saw you, he was in a daze. So do you, what is it like to be Santa Claus?
It's unlike anything else, I think. Of course, I've always been myself, so, and I would encourage people, be yourself. Everyone else was already taken, so I'm Santa Claus, but that doesn't mean I'm more important than, say, you, Liyah. You have to be yourself, just like I have to be myself. But the beauty of Christmas and of giving is we quit thinking so much about ourselves and we begin thinking of others, which isn't the easiest thing for us to do. We all want to take care of ourselves, but when we start thinking of someone else besides ourselves, then the magic happens. So it's fun. It's fun.
So when you were a little boy Santa, did you just wake up one day and say, I want to spread cheer and goodness all over the world for the rest of my life? Did you just decide you're going to, that this would be, I guess, your life calling?
Well, I grew up on a reindeer farm way up north, and so it kind of happened over time. One day there was this one reindeer that, as it turned out, could fly. And as he and his wife started having more reindeer babies, and we realized that strain of reindeer, that they could all fly, and that would allow us to start taking the gifts we made in our workshop far further afield than we had done previously in the North Pole. That's when the magic started happening, really, for me. And I think for the rest of the world, when they realized that I was not just a North Pole phenomena, but that I could, with the help of the reindeer, go a lot further.
That's a pretty green way to travel.
It's a lovely way to travel. It really is. And you know, the jingle bells, I mean, that is that alone makes it.
I hope we've had you here for a few hours, and I know that there's a 2-hour park limit downtown here in the back. So I hope the reindeer don't have citations on them when you get out there.
If they,
oh, okay, yeah. Our parking monitor doesn't go
on the roof.
No.
No,
I'm
okay,
sure
so.
the city of Twin Falls would, give you a discount if you did get a citation.
The only problem with on the roof is I haven't got all the reindeer trained.
Oh, wonderful.
Entirely. So
Great.
You may want to go up there later and take care of
that.
business. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
But back to your original question about when I kind of knew that I was going to be Santa Claus. When I was younger, I always liked to sing, and when I was younger, I would sing high pitched, and some of the boys made fun of me for that, and it hurt my feelings. You know, when you're when you're a teenager.
Yeah.
But then, as my voice started to change and as my beard started coming in, I started hitting my stride, and I realized, this could be something. This whole idea of flying reindeer and toys and candy canes and the coal I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, I think you gave me
A bucket of coal a few years
a
ago.
bucket of coal.
Not for you personally, but
Yeah.
for you to give to people who richly deserve it.
I still have it. I haven't, actually, I'm glad I have not met people, you know, I'm really blessed I meet magical people, really loving people, and I haven't met anyone yet to give them the coal. But I was really shocked when you gave me a whole bucket of coal. I thought, man,
Well-
I think he's, you know, retroactive, going back.
Our records don't go back that far, luckily. We purge our
Oh.
records every so often.
Oh,
I mean,
good.
think about it, Liyah.
Yeah.
If the whole, I'm making a list, checking it twice, gonna find out who's naughty or nice, you know, as the song says. If it weren't for statutes of limitations, you know, we'd all be,
Yeah, on the naughty list.
yeah.
So just to, for anyone that's wondering, when is it in the year you start checking the list? Because after you checked it, you're in the clear, right?
Well, that's funny you should mention that, because a lot of people seem to think once the holiday season is over, they can go back to being naughty.
Yeah.
You see it in their driving habits. People should stay nice all year long. That way, when we do start checking, which we do periodically, we know who's on which list. And of course, some people are marginal. It's almost like, well, you know, they've done some nice things, they've done some naughty things, back and forth, and then we have a committee that we convene if there's a question. And we have a rubric, and
There's
we
not an
apply.
appeal process.
No, there's no appeal process, no.
So why is it that some people stop believing in you? Because you're right here and clearly real.
I like to think I'm real. When people quit believing, what is it they've quit believing in? Me or themselves? Because the whole spirit of Christmas is so much bigger than me. It's about peace on earth, goodwill toward men and women, I might add. And so if we really quit believing in Santa Claus, have we quit believing in peace on earth, goodwill toward men? If we have, then that's a dreadful error of judgment. We need to keep believing.
In ourselves.
In ourselves and
in
in
one another.
In our neighbors.
In our neighbors.
In the land in which we live. In our ability to work together for a greater good, and to be kind and to be loving and to be gentle.
And what keeps you believing? What keeps Santa believing?
Because inside every person, I think, is someone who wants to be good. Even when they're not. Generally, when you're not good, you feel it in your bones. And you know that you could and should be better than you are. And so if that motivates you to be a little kinder, a little more gentle, a little more loving, a little more unselfish with what you have, a little more willing to share, then the level of hunger decreases, the level of homelessness decreases, the level of sadness and pain decreases over time. Will we all be able to fix every problem we encounter? No. But if we work together as people, as neighbors, as nations, then we can find good in everyone, regardless of what language they speak, what color they are. We should all get along. We're one species. And we sometimes forget that.
Yeah, we do
The
forget
human
that.
family.
You do a great job reminding us of that.
Well,
Maybe
when
we
I go
need-
out, it's fun because
Can
I
you
don't
come
care.
around more often during the year? Why just once a year? Can we have you like once a quarter?
Well, I'm out there. You just have to watch for me. I just don't wear this suit. But that season, that magic can linger. Sadly, January tends to be a brutal month. when everyone starts trying to pay for their credit card bills and they've overeaten, too much fudge, too much eggnog, and now they pay the piper in January, they've got to pay off the debt, and it gets snowy and icy, and the days are short and the nights are long, and so people can sometimes forget the peace on earth and goodwill toward men. But if we try to keep that spirit of Christmas in our hearts,
Yeah.
it's a good thing.
It's lasting.
Yeah, and I'll be walking down the street sometime, not dressed as I am now, but my beard is still very much part of me, and the spectacles, and all of a sudden someone will say to me from a doorway, sometimes a homeless person, Santa Claus?
Yeah.
And I immediately turn as if they've rung the jingle bells, and I say, yes. And then I say, have you eaten lunch yet? And they say, no. And I say, well, let's go. And off we go to lunch. And then we share our adventures. Not just about Christmas, but about life.
And that's the best gift
Oh,
for
that's the
someone
best.
that is needing their basic needs met.
Exactly.
It's not the material stuff.
No,
It's the kindness and the
exactly.
dignity.
Exactly.
So in a way where we can all be like you. We can all be Santa.
You know, there's that song,
Gift, dignity, and kindness and compassion.
that there's many lovely songs about Christmas. There's one that says, a child shivers in the cold. Let us bring him silver and gold. Let us bring him silver and gold.
Yeah.
Wouldn't a blanket make more sense?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are striving to get as much silver and gold as they can. And in the process, they forget about the shivering baby who needs a blanket.
Mm.
So, whenever I sing that song, a child shivers in the cold, let us bring him silver and gold? No, let's bring him a blanket. Let's bring some formula for his mother so she can make sure he's fed. Let's build them a house. Let's fix their car.
Yeah.
The baby didn't need silver and gold. He just needed to be loved
That
and
is
cherished.
weird. I never paid attention to those lyrics.
Well, it's because we were trying to make it rhyme. We always try to make life rhyme, and it doesn't always. It's nice
No.
when it does,
Life doesn't always
but
rhyme.
our rhyme scheme is sometimes
Quote of the year, Santa.
Yeah.
Life doesn't always rhyme.
no, it doesn't.
But that I never noticed that they're bringing the baby silver and gold.
Yeah, the wise men. These were supposedly the three. Maybe we should have sent women instead of wise men.
Three
We
wise.
should have sent wise women. They would have brought a blanket and
Things
some
that
formula.
your mom needs.
Yeah, the things the mom. No, the men are bringing silver and gold.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I guess they were wealthy, and so those of us who are wealthy, let's turn the silver and gold into blankets and
Yeah.
Habitat for Humanity and places you can fix cars and recycle them to people who don't have a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember the first time we met. I just arrived to the United States. I was 11, just turned 11. And there was a little mall here where Fred Meyer's is. There was a mall called the Blue Lakes Mall before they built the big mall. And you were there, and I went there with my mom, and I saw you, and I thought, what a weird, creepy looking old man. Because the Santas I saw in my previous life in the Soviet Union, they were very creepy, and they didn't smile, and they weren't warm. And I thought, well, that one's kind of creepy too. And I still have my picture. It was a Polaroid, and it was the picture, the first picture I have of me smiling as a child. I'm just wearing like a little black leather jacket, and I'm sitting with Santa, and I don't know if we were supposed to pay for it or what, but we didn't really have money, so we didn't understand what was happening. And I thought, well, I'm watching these children, they are going up and sitting with you, taking a picture. And I just went up there, took a picture, and I still have it. And I really love that picture because not only it's my first picture with Santa, but also it's the first picture of me smiling as a child. Because all the pictures we had prior to that, they just were kind of stoic, and I thought, wow, that my inner child knew, and my spirit knew that we're in a new life, in a new country. Things were light-hearted and safe, and so I still have it. I hope I can preserve it because it's an old Polaroid. So that's a memory. That's a very fun memory I have. Now, not all of my kiddos had the same experience taking a picture with you. A couple of them, most of the time, were crying and screaming. And Aza, the littlest one, I think threatened you.
She did. I remember her balling her fist, and
I was worried for your safety and life.
as was I.
Yeah.
You have very strong children. Very delightfully strong children. You've taught them well.
She even growled at you in the picture.
You mentioned your childhood, and I know you came from Armenia and had a less than ideal childhood growing up because of what was happening in your homeland, and you were finally able, you and your family, to come to America. And hopefully the people you've met here have been welcoming and kind, but I suspect at times, maybe not. I remember years ago, I was in New York flying with the reindeer, and suddenly there was Lady Liberty, the Statue of Liberty. And so we circled around that beautiful statue because I just wanted to admire her from the air. And it was a gorgeous morning. The sun was coming up, and it was Christmas Day, and we basically finished delivering gifts to all the children throughout the world. And as we went soaring past the Statue of Liberty, I saw that beautiful poem attached to the base of the Statue of Liberty, written by Emma Lazarus, a wonderful poet.
Yeah.
And she said, among other things in that beautiful poem, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door." That poem was written about Lady Liberty, the Statue of Liberty that welcomes people to New York Harbor and to Ellis Island, where so many Americans were processed as they began the journey towards citizenship.
It's so beautiful.
It's a gorgeous.
It's the whole poem, and she's facing the world.
Right.
She
And lifting her lamp.
She hasn't been turned to face us yet, and she hasn't turned her back to the world. It's such a beautiful gift.
It is from France.
From France, yeah.
Who had gone through the French Revolution, which in some ways was a precursor to and similar to our Declaration of Independence from Great Britain. And so, like she is turned to face the world, to welcome those who want to be part of the American gift of freedom and the American dream. I hope politically we haven't begun to turn her away from the world so that she's looking only after her own selfish needs. That's not the woman that I think of when I imagine what Lady Liberty, the Statue of Liberty, is about.
Yeah, I like how you called it the American gift. It is a gift.
It is.
To be treasured and to be cherished.
And to be shared.
Yeah, to be shared. To the gift of freedom.
We should share freedom.
There's just so much. I've lived here now 3 decades, and I've heard the conversation go every which way. But the economy really speaks the loudest. So we a lot of times have political stances or religious, philosophical stances, but it's how people choose to participate in the economy, how they choose to shop their values or not, which speaks the loudest. Because you can hold some values, for example, you can hold values that we maybe don't want to support communist regimes, or where people are suppressed and exploited in like factories and factory work, but then turn around and actually purchase massive amounts of products and goods from those factories and from China and from communist regimes without blinking our eye and thinking about the fact that our own purchases are contradicting our values.
Right.
And for me, it's such an important thing to practice sustainability. We, not only in our business, in my business, but also in the way I live and shop. Being very resourceful and taking care of the things we have, not replacing things unless you absolutely have to. Just really practicing that sustainability to the core in how we live our life. That's important, because then you're not only living your values and practicing your values, but you're really taking care of Earth and the country you love and the neighbors and the people you care about.
Absolutely.
I think and that's when the country was the strongest and the most thriving, is when the working class, the middle class families could be part of the American promise and participate in that dream. And you don't just dream once. The American dream isn't one time thing. It's
right.
The promise is you can keep dreaming, and you can keep actualizing your dreams, and you can fail, and you can dream again.
Yes.
And that's part of this country, and it's so special. I feel a lot of people take it for granted unless they've had a background where they've lived the opposite, which truly is hell. Sorry for using bad language with you, but it truly is. When you are stripped of freedom, of human dignity, of opportunity, and even dreaming is controlled and suppressed, that's pretty much hell. That's pretty much a type of hell, and there's so many places like that on earth right now. So Americans are so lucky, blessed, and sometimes just maybe not even aware of it. And I really hope people take care of what they have, by really nurturing what we have here.
And to know that certainly we have rights, and we talk a lot about them, our civil rights and different things. We also have responsibilities.
Yes.
To vote, to participate, to go to the public hearings, and to take part
To pay
in
attention.
government. Because we the people.
Yeah.
That's what our Constitution says. We the people, in order to create a more perfect union. A more perfect union. It's not perfect. But to achieve perfection, or to use that as our noble goal, we the people all have to participate. And keep participating, keep dreaming, and dream of ways that we can make life better tomorrow than it was today. And that's not just at Christmas time. In fact, what we talked about before, this spirit of brotherhood and of peace, we need to extend that all through the year. And
Extend
for
Christmas.
people. Look for people
Yes.
whose lives are worse off than our own, and reach down and give them a lift and say, how can I help?
Mhm.
Because we're a very wealthy country. We have wealth that's unparalleled. So let's use it. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yes.
If we actually used it, not just to enrich ourselves,
Yeah.
but everyone else around us.
And sometimes you don't even realize, like you're saying, just how wealthy you really are. And it's not monetary, it doesn't have to be monetary. Sometimes it's your ability or
Yeah.
your health or your resources that someone else, just that's all they're lacking, and you have it. You can provide or meet a need or connect them with information or just ask people how are you, and so they feel cared and seen and their worth. What does Santa wish for at Christmas time besides cookies? Because you get a lot of cookies.
I do.
How can one person eat so many cookies?
It's hard, but I try. Yeah. And then to get airborne after that, the
Those
reindeer, it's
poor
magic.
reindeer.
It's gotta be rough to be a reindeer.
Towards the end of the shift,
Well, they only have to do the heavy lifting the one month of the year. The rest of the time, they have an easier life. But my thoughts or my dreams,
Christmas. What does Santa wish for Christmas? What does Santa
I guess.
care for Christmas?
I guess what I wish is that spirit we all feel at this time of year could permeate the coming months and could be so strong that when we get to Thanksgiving and then Christmas, we wouldn't have to reignite those fires because they've been burning all year. That's what I wish.
Yeah.
Too often I feel like we light these lamps and we fill them with oil and we make sure the flame is the wick is adjusted and the flame is beautiful and bright, and it from Thanksgiving to Christmas, maybe to New Year's Day, everything's just, we got more to eat, more to do, more to celebrate kindness and goodwill, and then it's almost as though we put those lamps out in January and then it's back to the old grind, dog eat dog, everybody get out of my way, I gotta go to work. And we forget that we could keep those same lights burning right on through the winter and into spring, and then come spring we could, in our neighborhoods, till up that lot that no one's built on yet and put in a neighborhood garden, and we could use our skills and our tools to help a widow who needs her bathroom rebuilt, or we could join Habitat for Humanity or any number of other cool organizations to take our wealth further than it's ever gone before, and we could just rebuild America one family, one neighborhood at a time, and do it all year long. And then when we get to Thanksgiving and Christmas, it's like we're already there. We're still feeling it because we never stopped feeling it in the end of December.
Yeah.
Why do we have to rekindle that fire for 2 months every year, maybe month and a half? Shouldn't we just keep those lights burning, those fires burning inside of ourselves all year long?
That's a good wish.
That's what my wish is.
Act
That
like
I
it's
wish I could be put
Christmas.
out of business. Wouldn't that be nice? Cause I'm getting old.
You have to retire.
I'm getting old,
You're
maybe
thinking
I need
about
to retire.
retirement?
So what if we just made me obsolete? You didn't need me and my jingle bells and reindeer anymore because, hey, everybody's taking over. Then I don't have to do my job.
I like how you're planning on retirement by outsourcing
Yeah,
Christmas.
that's right. I'll outsource Let's learn
Well,
what the
I think that's a
season's about.
great, I think that's
Yeah.
a great wish, and that's a great charge for the rest of us.
Well, it's a
you're
charge for
putting-
all of us.
That you put out there.
And you know, because that's what you do. I've been in your shop before. When girls come in, for example, that are going to go to prom, and they find a dress that is perfect for them, except for one small problem. They don't have enough money to buy it. And so you make up the difference.
Yeah,
You
they
take
have to
what-
go to prom.
You
That's
take
our-
what they
Our promise to them.
contribute, and you make up the difference. Because you can. You're in a position because you worked hard, and because you're wise in the management of your resources. You've reached a point where you can make a difference. So you do. So my joy would be to encourage everyone who can make a difference to make a difference, because a lot of us can. And if we do, if we all give a little bit, then we'll get the job done. And when we do, our world is brighter too.
Yeah.
That's what gives me joy delivering these gifts, and I have lots of people that you'll never meet who are in the background. Mrs. Claus.
I met
her.
Mrs. Claus.
She's the logistical brains behind this. I'm the front man with the sleigh and the jingle bells and everything, but there are all these people like that, far behind the scenes, doing the lion's share of the work, and then the last thing I want to do is try and take credit for all this, because I'm just the delivery guy.
You are just a delivery guy.
Yeah, I'm just a delivery guy. But if you'll give me peace on earth, goodwill toward men, I'll be happy to deliver it. I would love to fly my sleigh over the Middle East and bring peace to the Jewish people, the Palestinian people, the Iraqis, the Iranians, the Syrians. I would love to take peace to all of those people, and they're all interrelated. And in our country. And we just had a very divisive political cycle. And there are people that are thrilled with our new presidential choice and people who are not. So right here within our own country, there's a lot of animosity. And we need to all overcome that and work together again. And if we do, the magic will happen. But if we're rowing our ship toward the shore, and along the way we take the paddles out of the water and start whacking each other on the head, our leaky boat's never going to make it to shore. We need to make sure our oars are in the water and that we're stroking, whether we're blue or red, politically, whether we're liberal or conservative. We've all got to work together. Teamwork. And if we do that, I think maybe we'll certainly heal our own wounds, but also we can continue to be a force for good throughout the world. And we only have one world. Mother Earth needs us more than she's ever needed us. So we've got to take good care of our inheritance and use it wisely. And we happen to have been blessed with a lot of wonderful things that we should share. And if we do, magic will happen. And it's not these. It's not these. These are just a symbol. The magic happens when we open our hearts. And when we invite new people to our table. And when we hear people speaking languages that we don't even know. And when they teach us traditions and foods that we weren't even aware were out there. So I think we need to go out and get way out of our comfort zone. Start inviting people over who think differently than we do, who look differently than we do, who speak a different language than we do, whose faith traditions are different than ours. And start comparing notes and see what things we have in common instead of what divides us.
Well, that's where our common humanity.
Okay. We're right back where we started.
Yeah. When we can be our authentic self, which everyone's unique.
Yeah.
They come from different backgrounds and characteristics and textures of culture, but our common humanity.
Yeah.
That's something that is just innate, and that no culture has a monopoly over it, and no religion has a monopoly over, whose humanity is worth more
Right.
or less. And that's how we see our common humanity, is by reaching out and meeting people and getting to know them and sharing
Right.
who we are with them, because everyone is different and exotic in their own way to someone else.
Right.
It's not just one way. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I know you are preparing to get really busy with the reindeer and you guys are doing like a couple of test runs to make sure they remember
There's a
which
lot of
direction,
paperwork.
a lot of paperwork.
That I have to file my
And-
flight plans across the world. I hope we get
Yeah.
snow, because here, agriculture is still the mainstay of your economy.
Yes, we need the snow.
We need the snow
water.
for the crops and
That's
for
our
industry
wish
and
for
for-
Idaho,
yeah.
is snow and
Is-
water. If
yeah.
you could just deliver that.
Well, I'm gonna do my best.
I wish you a very Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas to you.
And thank
Liyah.
you, and thank you for stopping by and sharing some time on our No Name podcast.
It's always a joy to come and see you and your family
Thank you.
and your friends. I always meet new people when I come to your shop, and everyone seems to be welcome.
My little friends today, you met little 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds and
Yes.
7-year-olds.
Yes,
So
which is wonderful.
yeah, little kiddos today, and have a safe trip around the world.
I will.
Watch the cookies. We talked about your belt.
The fact
I'm a stylist, and I noticed you're on your
we're
last.
on my last.
You're on your last notch. So
Well,
this is Claus.
I think,
Easy on the baking.
I have a cardiologist who cautions me about some of my dietary choices, but the food this time of year is so
Yes.
incredible. And the plate of cookies that the children set out with a glass of milk, probably from one of the dairies right here in the Twin Falls area, it's a weakness of mine, I have to say.
I wouldn't have guessed.
Ever since I achieved my height, I've been working my circumference.
Yeah.
And I don't, it's, and that's why we've all got to work harder together, so I can eventually retire.
Yes.
And just sit by the fire with Mrs. Claus and enjoy the fact that we finally got our wish.
Oh, I love
Peace on
that.
earth, goodwill
I love
toward
that.
men. And women, especially women. And next time we're sending 3 wise men.